Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at. I'm gonna make a video today about like the things I would try to achieve if I had real power, right? Um, Originally I was gonna post it like if I were president and if I had power, but let's be real, it doesn't feel like elected leaders, like presidents, prime ministers really have that much power, or their power is so controlled by something else, it's hard for them to do anything. So to start it off, um, first thing is I would bring all of our soldiers and war materials home, right? I would stop all foreign aid to hostile nations and groups immediately. Um, be damned the contracts. I don't care about your contracts. Like, all contracts are null and void for purposes of war, pretty much, for purposes of providing materials and services of war. Um, Things like foreign aid to hostile nations like and groups such as Israel and Ukraine, right? I would only send humanitarian aid to other nations and entities, and only after I've put the needs of America first to fix the United States problems. Um, Only special forces operations would exist and would be allowed outside of the United States of America, and those would be very, very targeted, right? In order to go after the organized crime cartels from all zones, right? On the global scale, people like the Zionist cartels, the huge Mexican drug cartels, the big pharma cartels, the mafia, the mob. Those are two different things that have combined into one over the years. International trafficking organizations and entities of the like, the banking cartels, the energy cartels, all of them. We'd go after all of them, right? Freeze their assets and take everything they have and redistribute it to the public sector, and well, public and private sectors, for people that are deserving of it and that are acting on a moral and ethical basis. I gotta take all these fucks out of power. Second thing, I would add a constitution to the amendment that would require all technological advancements to be researched and developed for the purpose of creating abundance and freedom for all and curing the world of the pollution, disease, and harm we have caused, first and foremost. I would outlaw any R&D of weapons and warfare except those meant to physically protect the nation and people physically inside of the nation. Nothing from the outside. No making up lies to go and try to take over the resources of Venezuela or Mexico or everything else. Especially when they're saying these narco-terrorists that the CIA and the DEA have been, and the FBI have been in bed with since the fucking beginning. They were part of creating these organizations, right? Look into the School of the Americas and Los Zetas is one example. Organized crime going back into the early 1900s, going into these different nations and forming these cartels for their own purposes in a lot of ways. Working with the crime bosses to form these extremely powerful cartels. Let's see. I would outlaw any R&D of weapons and warfare except those meant to physically protect us, right? No weapons or warfare equipment, technology advancements will be used abroad anywhere outside the extremely targeted special forces operations, right? They will be strictly purposed to protecting the United States and its borders, except for the above mentioned purposes, like I said, to go after international criminal organizations. And the national ones, right? All the stuff here, all the big banks here, the JP Morgans, the Wells Fargos, the Banks of America, everything to do with like the Rockefeller and Rothschild families and all the dirt they've been into for centuries. Yeah, and this is a small outline, not a whole lot of detail, and that's a lot of information, right? Another constitution to add to the amendment would be to force all past, present, and future research and development, patents, materials, technology, information, and all other things that could benefit and advance our society and humanity that has been paid for by tax money or black budget funds of any kind, in any way, in any amount. Right? All that would have to be released into the public, open sourced. That's anything that has been paid through grants or contracts, anything or anything paid for by the government through our tax money, through intelligence, non-governmental organizations, entities of all kinds, etc. And anything that has been funded in any way or any amount with black budgets and or illegal funds of any kind. This especially includes anything to do with energy, consciousness, propulsion, information, medicine, transportation, communication, and media of any kind. All inventions and scientific and philosophical discoveries that have been suppressed, except for the stuff that's highly dangerous and can be weaponized in somebody's garage, right? It would be put out to the public as open source. And these things would be, like, even though the weapons, like, the knowledge to the public that we have them would be out there, but, like, the critical information required to build and operate them would be left out, right? Hey, we do have electromagnetic rail weapons and directed energy weapons, all this stuff, but I'm not going to say how to build them. I'm just going to say what they are, who has them, whether it's the CIA, a branch of military, or a big corporation that's in bed with the government. Like, the public would know, and then they could make decisions based through their voting about what to do with it. Yeah. So, also, another thing for the Constitution, I would add an amendment that would require a life sentence of imprisonment for anyone and everyone in our trusted, not so much now, but in our trusted entities and societal structures, right? So I would add that it would require a life sentence of imprisonment for anyone involved in those, like military, law enforcement, private parties and industries, media, intelligence, government entities that have knowingly or purposely spread lies, misinformation, or disinformation, or purposely hid, manipulated, or destroyed, or attempted to destroy information, which has led to wars, coups, assassinations, or any death or harm of innocents, or the overthrowing of sovereign nations, and require that all parties involved have all their assets, belongings, information, and everything they have to be seized and put into the control of another entity that's either existing or something that we create, to be used to repair the damages caused by those entities. Or we would liquidate everything and disperse it towards programs that are created and strictly controlled for societal improvement, strictly controlled like through things like blockchain, where you can't just manipulate it and hide. The record's there, it's there, it can be looked at, open source by anybody. And that brings, that is the kind of thing that would bring, one, it'd bring the truth out, and two, it would bring a structure of responsibility to the people that are doing these things and have done them and that want to continue to do them, right? It would be a structure of accountability for the most powerful entities and individuals in the world. You don't like it, eat a dick. We outnumber you 1,000,000 to 1, so go fuck yourselves. That's what I say. Fuck them. Like, Bill Gates shouldn't be a free man. While Edward Snowden is still trapped in another country that's supposed to be our biggest enemy right now, Russia, and the shit that happened to Snowden, finally getting him free. All these major whistleblowers coming out for the UAP, UFO stuff, and them getting threatened and their entire lives destroyed and their careers taken away, losing all of their assets. It's ridiculous. Losing their assets and going through all this pain for telling the truth and trying to help better humanity, right? The organizations that are doing this and entities that are doing this, we would be under attack. We would attack them directly. We would go after them directly. We would name them off. You know, that's the first thing I would do, is start naming off all the evil organizations and entities and individuals to the public on the day I took the presidency. That's exactly what I would do. I would fuck their shit up as quick as possible. I'd go at them as hard as possible. Yeah. Yes, this would also hold true to all of their family members that have benefited in any way from these corruptions, except for the incarceration. Unless, obviously, there is a legal precedent to incarcerate them. But yeah, sorry. Y'all are on blood money and all this black budget money that you're fucking me and everybody, all the other innocent people in the world out of. Like, go fuck yourselves. You're stealing our money to oppress us and keep us in this crazy prison that you built around the world, this high-tech prison. No, you get a taste of the same medicine. You get to be locked up for life, and you get to be made an example of. You're lucky we just don't fucking hang you from the barracks. And your kids and everybody else. Yeah, you want to force in all this shit, all the misinformation, forcing us to go to war, where you and your kids are going to be on the front line of those wars. You vote to go to war in the future, then you're going to be on the front lines. You better fucking mean it. Because if you can't get on the front lines for health or something, then your immediate family members will be put there. And that's how it would be. The Romans had that right. The Romans had that right. I would add another amendment to the Constitution that would require the media to be structured more like a legal trial, right? Verified facts and observations must be told plainly without political or personal bias. And that will be first. And then separate from the facts and the observations being told, that is when the opinions of what those facts means could be expressed afterwards. But that structure, you know, it also cannot limit, impede, go around, stop, or manipulate the First Amendment in any way. We'd have to have an amendment about the technological advancements as well, which I think I'm going to get to in a minute. I have it written down here. But yeah, structuring the media to where it's basically impossible for them to spread disinformation and lies, because they would have to tell verified facts and observations first, and then they can go into their opinion afterwards of what it means. So the public, and they can hear stuff and be like, okay, I can turn off the news. I don't want to hear opinions. I want to think about this for myself, come to my own conclusion. I think that would be a way better way. Let's see. Yes, I would add to the Constitution Amendment that fully protects all whistleblowers from any laws or actions that can be used to arrest, detain, incarcerate, manipulate, coerce, harm, or damage them or their loved ones in any way, and a requirement of the highest levels of protection for said individuals. All laws that endanger whistleblowers would be annulled and destroyed. Yeah, like things like the from the early 1900s, like the World War I and II era, like the Espionage Act, and then after World War II, National Security Act, all that stuff. It would have to be modified heavily and changed, or just completely annulled, right? All this, you know, the thousands of patents that are slapped with national national security secrecy orders. Those would all, like anything that has to do with energy, they would all be taken away. Anybody in the patent office, the CIA, NSA, FBI that has this information, you hide it, you try to destroy it, and you're going to prison for life. You're going to prison for life. And we have to treat you better than you treat us, because I'd really like to kill all of you sons of bitches, and I would pull the trigger. I would be the one to do it. I pass the sentence, I swing the sword. Right? All of you cunts. All of you Gates and Musks and Bezos, Rothschilds, Rockefellers, all you political families. Right? Even now, current president, Trump, Biden, Obama, Bush, Cheney, Clinton, Reagan, I don't care. You're all gone. You fucking monsters are gone. I would add a constitution to the amendment that would require the highest level of protection for inventors, scientists, manufacturers, and creators that are working on anything that to advance science, society, humanity in general, to advance discoveries, medicine, communication, travel, energy, and the well-being of humanity of any kind. This especially holds true for advanced energy, propulsion, medical, information, AI, transportation, and communication technologies. I would add an amendment that would require biannual audits of all finance, banking, and corporate entities that would be open to the public to watch over and review. And this would be done in some kind of form like blockchain, so there can't be any manipulations, any cheating, any going back and changing the records. No. It'd be in a form where you will be held accountable for all of your actions. This crony capitalism bullshit, which is leading into this world and high-tech imperialism, like we would destroy you. And you would still live, and you have a chance to go and work it out hard like the rest of us and get all this, but you can't just win by cheating and by deception and manipulation. Not gonna happen anymore. You don't get to just fuck over everybody and take all their shit. And then hold us prisoner in this high-tech system that you're building. Not gonna happen. Fuck you. Create laws that would force all banking, finance, and corporate entities to use blockchain technologies to record and safeguard all their transactions in a manner where none of their actions and transactions could be hidden from or protected from the public eyes and the audits. And this is in order to hold them completely accountable, right? Because they're running rampant right now, and they think they get to own the world and everything that we do and have say over our lives because they're the best at deception and because they're good at finance and accounting. That shit doesn't put food on my table. It doesn't help me or anybody else pay the bills. You might trick them. They might be tricked into thinking so. But I'm sorry, I grow, I fish, I hunt. I can protect myself. I have real skills. And I should be shit on because I know how to take care of myself and I don't want to go into this high-tech madness and be controlled by AI and banks, like, and I'm the bad guy? No, fuck yourselves. No. Okay. I would add to the Constitution and create laws that would annul all contracts, legal protections, and laws past and present and future, which provide protections to the corrupt and any military, intelligence, and government officials, elected officials, representatives, private entities, individuals, NGOs, and all private individuals who have knowingly taken part in harmful, corrupt, illegal, unconstitutional, inhumane, unethical, and/or immoral practices and actions, especially those that have led to public and human harm or have prevented, hidden, suppressed human and societal advancement or well-being through mis or disinformation of lies about or suppression of information, technology, inventions, discovery, science, etc. in any kind of way, coming after you. This would be first targeted at the energy sector, big pharma sector, big agriculture, intelligence, military, media, government, mega corporations and firms, including legal firms, private individuals, entities, education, etc. Sorry, but like legal firms, you don't get the protection either. Just because you're best at manipulating the law doesn't mean that you get a free pass anymore. Sorry, like Rosemont Syndica and all the shit that they did, and like Hillary Clinton's law firm and her father's law firm and all those guys, like all the evil shit they did over the past, the silencing of the rape victims and the payouts. Sorry, you don't get protection to do that anymore. You just don't. You are a scourge on the belly of humanity. You are a stain in the toilet that needs to be removed, and it's fucking time. All right? I would add strength to the Second Amendment, all right? And the First Amendment, for that matter, especially the First Amendment. But I would add strength to the Second Amendment by adding that all available personal arms and weapons of any kind that's allowed to law enforcement or military officials would also be available to private citizens, except for the obvious things: no weapons of mass destruction, biological weapons, high explosive, any atomic, hydrogen weapons, neutron bombs, directed energy weapons, things like that. Vehicles of war like armed fighter jets, aircraft carriers, right? That doesn't need to be in an individual's hands. Other arms and weapons that are deemed inappropriate for non-military and non-law enforcement uses and entities and individuals, those would be excluded. But I mean, if the military can have it with so much power and control over us and able to take away so many freedoms, we need to be able to protect ourselves from that. And we can't do it if we're outgunned, right? Outgunned and outnumbered. Can't do it that way. I would create laws to force all media to attract, correct, and renew all past, present, and future false claims. The lies, the incorrect dissemination of information, and dissemination of mis or disinformation that they have spread to the public, which has clearly caused harm to the public and innocent individuals. All the stuff about 9/11, Iran-Contra, the COVID vaccine, COVID itself, everything. UAPs, UFOs, the disclosure especially, huge. Because that's going to form the future of humanity, right? I would seize all of their assets and materials, which would be disseminated to other individuals and entities who have honestly, to the best of their knowledge and information, spread the most accurate information to their capabilities, right? MSNBC, Fox, CNN, ABC, all you lying pieces of shit, all the bullshit you put out, all of you would be stripped of everything. Everything. And that would be given to actual journalists and reporters. The ones that are being censored for coming out and telling the truth are being arrested. Those would be the guys that are being put in power over our media. If they fuck up, the same is coming to them. Honest mistakes are one thing, but purposely putting out lies and information to manipulate the public into doing things against the good of humanity. Like, fuck you people. Like, fuck you. I wish I could just lock myself in a room with you cunts for 5 minutes. We'd see who is elite and who's not. You fucking pussies, you Don Lemon kinds of cunts, Rachel Maddow. Oh, you lying pricks. Yeah, create laws to force the media to retract all the bad information and clear it. I'd seize their assets for it. Those individuals and entities who have purposely remained ignorant or purposely disseminated false or any kind of misleading information and dereliction of their duties to the public will face the same consequences. You would be incarcerated for no less than 10 years under the same condition faced by whistleblowers like Julian Assange and Mordecai Vanunu. Fuck you. I would change the education system with laws that force them to rewrite history accurately. Tell the truth about the FBI and the Dulles brothers of the CIA, the rise of the OSS and the CIA, when the National Security Act was created, what it was created for, right? We would tell the truth about Zionism, things like that. Truth about all the false flags, 9/11, the shit that happened before Pearl Harbor, how we knew days before and let it happen because we wanted to get into the war. And not only did we know days before, but we forced the Japanese into war by destroying their economy and starving out their population. They had no choice but to go to war for the survival of their people. And that was forced by, mostly by America, but the Allied forces, the Allied powers during World War II. That's what the fuck happened. Right? Alright, education system. Force them to rewrite history accurately and correctly by adding in the whitewash, hidden, suppressed historical facts, and to correct the false information and all misrepresented information that has been taught within the school, education, and university systems. The media would be required to take part in the dissemination of correct and accurate history on a minimum bi-weekly basis until it has all been corrected and disseminated. For example, historical subjects such as the Civil War, a lot of shit we're lied to about that, the JFK assassination, obviously, the corruption of the FBI, CIA, NSA, Homeland Security, etc., the information we know about 9/11, the War on Terror, the history of UFOs, UAPs, and non-human intelligences, the history of corporations and families like the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, IBM, Microsoft, the Morgans, the Warburgs, the royal families, Jeffrey Epstein, things like the Branch Davidians and the separatist groups in the late 80s and early 90s, the shit that really happened. And all major scandals and conspiracies and general fuckery that have been lied about. The Franklin scandal, Jimmy Savile, the most horrendous things, right? The COVID vaccine, and COVID itself, how it was created, Dr. Fauci and his shit history, Microsoft, Bill Gates, all of them. All of them. The practices for achieving higher consciousness and spiritual advancements will also be regular practice within the education system. Right? Super important. Not on a religious basis either. Religion still be free to practice or talk about anywhere. But the higher consciousness and spiritual practices can be affiliated by anyone that wants to do them within their religion, but they would be practiced outside of religion within the school system. Except for groups that form that want to practice it within a context of whatever, of the Abrahamic religions or Hinduism or Taoism, whatever. I don't care. As long as it's for peaceful purposes, I don't care. And you shouldn't either. Right? I would abolish the CIA, the NSA, the FBI, the IRS, DARPA, NATO, the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank, the World Health Organization, and all other unneeded and corrupt federal and international alphabet agencies and corrupt international corporations, firms, entities, cartels with histories of corrupt, unethical, immoral, inhumane practices, etc. We go after you all. Monsanto, Bayer, all the big agriculture and big pharma companies. Sorry. You just genocided millions of people with your false information and are using that to try to force us into a high-tech serfdom society where you get to control our lives and basically turn us into fucking batteries like in the Matrix. Fuck you. I'm not your slave. I never will be. I will starve to death. I will be tortured to death. I will burn to death before I let any of that shit happen to me. I am not doing it. I am not doing it. I will not do it. So any individual, private entity, corporation, military, Leo intelligence, bank, etc. that uses or creates natural disasters to steal land, resources, etc., they will have all assets frozen and seized, and any of them that are behind the manipulation of or creation of weather and disasters for capital gains will be incarcerated for life. The NextRad system, the HARP system, the chemtrails, all that stuff. Like, if you're not up to date with that, just go look at the real history of it. It's like the conspiracy theorist stuff. The CIA made up that term and all that stuff with JFK to manipulate the public. And now we know that everything that they said was a complete fucking lie, and everything these researchers that were called conspiracy theorists is coming true. The shit with Israel involved in it. The stuff with organized crime, FBI, CIA. There are points in all of those organizations that have to do with the assassination of the Kennedys, of both Kennedy brothers. Any individual, private entity, corporation. Oh, I just said that, right? Anybody for that is creating weather disasters in order to take over places, or direct energy weapons. Like, fuck them, dude. They're monsters. They deserve to burn. They deserve to burn at the stake in front of the public to watch. But we have to be better than them. We have to be more moral and ethical. We incarcerate them in life. We make an example out of them. Maybe we put them in fucking traveling circus. Kids can go and throw shit on them like monkeys. You know. Better than being tortured to death. Which they deserve more than anything else. For the above amendments, anybody that is caught suppressing, hiding, destroying, manipulating, or involved in any fuckery involving the evidence and information of everything I listed above, they will receive automatic life sentence, whether it was past or present, and it will hold for anything of the sort that happens in the future. Anyone reasonably suspected of any of this will be held in captivity until the matter is settled. See how you like being Assanged, right? Get a taste of your own medicine. You will be held in captivity until it's solved, until you come out with it, right? The research and development of high technologies concerning especially consciousness, energy, propulsion, inherent powers of all sentient beings, shall be focused on, and all historical documentation on it shall be unearthed and shared. And anybody hiding that, you get the same shit. Incarceration for life, you made an example of. You get to be in the traveling circus where parents get to take their kids and everybody gets to throw horse shit on you for hours. And throw peanuts at you to eat. Right? Religious organizations, especially the Vatican, the Mormons, the Jewish sects, and the Muslim sects, they will be required to share all the knowledge and information that they have stolen and hidden in the past, or all assets shall be frozen and seized. Alright? Claim to talk about God, and they're hiding all these fucking pedophiles everywhere, and they have all these secret sects within the Vatican. They have 50 miles of shelves of all the hidden information that they've stolen from us, from the people throughout the last 2 millennia. Fuck them. That is ours. We made that. We created that. Our ancestors did. And they get to steal it because they want to control us? No. No, I will not be a slave. I will not be controlled by you. You need to get this into your mind. Right? I would write laws that bring morality, ethics, and virtue back to medicine, especially bringing back universities and education systems of all the medical knowledge that has been purposely put to the side or suppressed by the path of allopathic medicine created by the Rockefellers and Carnegies. Bring it all back. All the natural cures that work amazing, that are suppressed for the benefit of big pharma. Fuck that. No. All the new stuff coming out with allopathic medicine that they're suppressing, using light, sound, and magnetic frequencies to manipulate cellular structure and kill cancer without harming the rest of the bodily tissues. Stuff that's been suppressed since at least the 30s. Royal Raymond Reich, Wilhelm Reich, those are two great examples of it. The stuff with carbon-60, how they won't run tests on all that stuff. No. Anything that benefits humanity will be blasted to the public and put on the fucking front lines first and foremost. Anybody trying to suppress it, incarcerated. You know? Incarcerated. I would do this stuff to try to push us away from the mentality of greed and selfishness that is causing all the problems, and just it's strangling out everybody in the world. It's time to step up. We have to have an evolution of our spirit and our consciousness. We have to look at things in a more in a humane manner. We have to get rid of the idea of power politics controlling the world. That's why we have the people that are best at lying and deception and cheating and doing terrible shit. The people that are best at that are the ones in charge of the world. Why? Why do we let this happen? People that like get out of that mindset that you're trapped in an economy that's based off of fiscal lies and fiscal manipulation. We don't have to have an economy like that. And I'm not saying get rid of capitalism or whatever other ism. I'm not saying get rid of it. I'm saying add something, like add humanism to it. Have a needs-based economy where everybody is taken care of and everybody has abundance. And for those people who want to go and spend their lives working 40, 50, 60 hours a week in a business so they can have these big, nice houses and cars that they never even get to use because they're working on. If you want to do that and spend your life that way, fine. I don't want to take that away from you or anybody else. But it doesn't mean that because you do that, everybody else should have to do it. Right? We have the technology that's been created for over 100 years now to solve all these issues, to clean out the pollution of the earth, to have free, abundant energy to pretty much everywhere on the world. You know, that would change everything. And these technologies will have to come out, right? And if they are hidden and suppressed to a manner where we can't get to them or destroyed because these greedy bastards, well, that's fine. We'll be able to figure this out and build one up in a few years because we're going to have the science, like the inventors and scientists protected, and everything that has to do with the advancement of these technologies is going to be open source to the public, and where the public can tune in like on a live TV station on YouTube at any time. They can tune in and see what's going on so that it can't be hidden, right? And that's like it, kind of like an outline of the things that I would run on if I had power. Of course, I'm not ever going to be president. I don't expect to be. Oh, God, I don't know if I would ever want to be. Jesus Christ. I don't expect that I'll ever have any kind of power like that. Honestly, I don't want it. That sounds like a terrible fucking life. But if I did have power, that's how I would use it. I would use it for humanism. Humanism. Not capitalistic, fucked up purposes. That's what I have today. I hope you enjoy it and get something out of it. Have a good one.